Welcome to your back relief series. This is a short, effective, useful, and usable series of exercises that will help you decongest and decompress that tightness in your lower back. What we need for class today is an exercise ball and a blanket, and if you don't have an exercise ball, you can use a rolled up blanket instead. We're going to get started lying on our back, and we're going to put the ball, for now, to the side. The knees are bent, the head is supported on a blanket, the arms are in what we like to call a low V. So before we start decompressing the back and going into our exercises, we're going to do something we call tractioning the back. And what that is we're going to lift the hips up just a little bit, and we're going to wiggle. Yep, that's a technical term, wiggle our hips towards our calves. And what we're doing is we're claiming length in the body and letting our body know that we're coming in to stretch, to decompress, and to feel better. Let's stay with this a few more times, tractioning the back. And then we come down. The arms are in what we like to call a low V, and your feet are naturally turned out. How wide are your legs? They're a little bit wider than your hips. And then we're simply, I'm turning the timer on for 45 seconds, rock side to side. So what we're doing right now is we're shifting our weight. We're leaning to the left hip, then we're leaning to the right. And it might seem really small. It might feel like you're barely doing anything. But when was the last time we did this? When was the last time we invested 45 seconds in just gently decompressing our back, in going through these movements side to side to find some space? Allow it to be easy. Allow it to be gentle. And just put in the time until we start to feel a little better. Pause here. Notice the difference from 45 seconds gently moving side to side. So we're going to traction our back again. So that means we're going to lift up our hips, and we're going to wiggle just a little bit left, a little bit right, and come back down. Now we're going to take that same movement and make it a little bit bigger. So the arms are again in a low V, and instead of shifting our hips side to side, we're allowing the legs, I just started the timer, to move side to side. And what we call this is a hip swivel. It's absolutely opening up and decongesting the front of the hips, but it's also extending and finding space in the lower back. Again, do not force. If forcing worked, we would have done it years ago. Allow the legs to shift side to side. If you find like it's a long time, of course you could do it less. But if it simply feels like a long time because you haven't done it this long, embrace the unfamiliar. Continue to go side to side, allowing your hips to come up, and then come back to the center and notice for yourself what an investment of 2 exercises already did. From here, we're going to roll over to the side and bring ourselves up so we can grab our ball. So we're going to lie back down, and we're going to put the ball underneath our hips. And we want to make sure the ball is in the right spot so we can really decongest and decompress and stretch out the back. So place the ball underneath your hips. And if you feel like the ball is too big, you could deflate it a little bit, or you could use a rolled up towel or blanket. Now we want the ball specifically underneath the hips and not, as I'm demonstrating now, underneath the lower back. And the way that you know it's in the right spot is you should be able to place your hand on your lower back and not touch the ball. The arms are in what we like to call a low V, and just find the ball. Find your balance. Allow your body to fall into the ball. This should feel good. And what's happening is because the ball is unstable, beneath the surface, your brain is trying to figure out how to stay on top of the ball without falling. And it's not like super obvious that we're thinking about it, but underneath the surface, all of these little things are happening to bring more balance to your body. Your arms are in a low V, and I'm starting the timer, 45 seconds, and we're simply going to shift side to side. And this should feel good. And if you feel like you're going too far, make it a little bit less. What we're doing right now is lengthening the side waist, finding some space in the hips, and just getting our body used to this feeling of being decompressed, of having more space, of having more ability. If you want to get fancy, you could shift a little bit more side to side, but that's not necessary. You want to keep moving for the full 45 seconds if possible, because we want to give these movements, these exercises, enough time for them to work. Come to the center and notice the difference, how the body feels more awake, alive, and alert. From here, we're going to extend the right leg out. We're going to have it roll open. So right now, the right leg is long and straight. The left leg is still bent. We're going to simply pause here and start to shift side to side. Now, we're not going to stay here that long, but we want to stay here long enough to find some space in the front of the right hip and the entire lower back. If you feel like it's too much, you can continue to do this with your right leg bent. Let's get one more time. So good. And then take it back and notice how there seems to be more space in the front of the right hip and the entire lower back. We're going to extend the left leg. We're going to let it roll open. Pause here for a second. Now, if you feel like it's too much, rebend the left leg. But let's see if we could start to rock side to side. And it doesn't have to be a lot. You just want to get your body used to moving, finding space, finding mobility. Let's get a few more times rocking side to side. And then come back to the center, leg bends. Notice how there's more space in the body. We're going to do one more item lying on the ball. You're going to extend your right leg again. You're going to extend your left leg again. You're going to allow your legs to be wide. You're going to have your arms in a low V. The timer is on, and we're here for 45 seconds. If you feel like this is too much, please bend your knees and have your feet flat on the floor. Notice, without judgment, which side of your body feels more stretched, which side of your body you're leaning towards more. Be a researcher and not a judge, and simply observe. And then maybe you shift away from which side you're leaning towards. And if you're not sure which one that is, simply go one way and the other and see where the differences are. Again, without judgment, but with curiosity. Maybe you want to spend more time leaning to one side more than the other. Please bend your knees and notice the profound space found in the hips, in the back, in the body. Elevate your hips, move the ball to the side, and bring yourself up. Such good work. That was your simple and effective back relief series. Remember, for exercise to work, it needs to be adaptable and adjustable for what you need. That is how we elevate our practice.